career moment for you. When did you start your TikTok?
I started March 2019, like way before TikTok was a thing, before Charlie was on it, before anyone cool was on it. It was kind of like Musically, and I was making stupid videos of me actually dancing, which is so embarrassing. But it wasn't
not
like
your brand now.
It wasn't like a real dancing, like it was like a make fun type of dance, and that's really where it all started. And it just started off as like a fun type of thing.
So at what point did you start like talking to the camera and like turning it into more of like a persona?
Yeah. So when I first started, it was just people dancing and doing like Musically type stuff. So I'd never seen anyone else talk on TikTok. And I remember seeing like my first video. It was like a redneck dude, like in like the South, like he had no teeth and he was like mudsliding on a hill, but he was talking, and I was like, you can talk on TikTok? So I made a video after I got my hair done, and I was like having a mental breakdown, and that was the first video that I had spoken in and the first video that went viral for me. So when that went viral, I was like, I'm just gonna keep talking.
So the first time you talked was like the first time you went viral.
Yeah, the first time I
you were
talked.
quickly like, oh, this is gonna be a formula that works.
Yeah, well, I was kind of big on Vine, and then Vine got deleted right when I was like at my peak. Like I remember Cody Co revined me, and I was like,
oh my God,
I'm gonna be a star.
That's
and
big stuff.
And then it got deleted, and I like cried for like so long. I was so sad. And then when TikTok came, my first video blew up. I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe it'll be fun.
So would you call yourself now, like after your following has grown, would you call yourself a content creator, influencer, both?
Okay, so influencer. That word, I hate that word so much. I hate it. But like I guess I'm an influencer only because of the content that I actually make. It's there to influence younger girls. I feel like that's really where I'm going with my content. So I would say I'm not a TikToker because I would say I'm more of a podcaster than a TikToker. But overall, I'm a content creator. I guess that's where I would place myself.
So you're now over 1 million followers.
Yeah.
But when you were like about to hit 1 million followers, you had something that you said you were gonna do when you hit 1 million. What was it again?
I'm really glad that didn't work. So I posted a video. I think I had like 900,000 or like 920,000 followers, and I said, if I get 1 million by Monday, I think it was like Thursday, that I would get the top comment, the tattoo. Like I would get a tattoo with the top comment. And the top comment ended up being, Dave is my daddy.
Yes.
So I went into work and I was like, Dave, so here's the thing. If I hit 1 million, this is the top comment, and like I have to do it, but I don't want to do it. And he was like, well, you can say that I would fire you if you got that tattoo, so you don't have to get it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So
I would have never had that on my body. That would have been
oh my God, that would have been insane having Dave Portnoy branded into your skin.
Horrifying. That's horrifying. I hate that.
Okay, so we're happy that didn't work out, but you did hit 1 million, and now you're over 1 million.
Yeah.
But going back to the earlier viral content, at what point did Barstool find you? Because they found you, right? Like you didn't reach out to them.
Yeah, Barstool found me. So I was still in college. I think I was a sophomore. Yeah, I was a sophomore in college, and Barstool found one of my videos of me being hungover, and I was like hanging over the toilet, throwing up, and I had maybe 80,000 followers, and they DM'd me on Instagram. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, are they going to post this video on their account, which I didn't want, because the Barstool comments are brutal still to this day. They're so brutal. And then they reached out and were like, no, like we want to talk to you. I was like, why? Because at this point I didn't think I was a TikToker, I didn't think I was a content creator. I was just making stupid videos, and they reached out to me. I called them, we talked about coming out and flying out here and meeting them. And then it all happened in literally the blink of an eye. I flew out here, I met everyone, and they were like, you want an internship? It's like, sure. And then I got the Barstool's fastest internship, and it was a week, and then I was hired full time, and now here I am.
So what was the full-time job that they hired you for? Because it wasn't like that you were an intern and then they're like, now you get your own podcast and you're full-time.
So basically they hired me as a content intern, which they don't really hire many of those because, I don't know, they should. I feel like there's so many people making content right now, but we really only hire like, I feel like 2 to 3 that get hired full-time, and I got fucking so lucky. I got so lucky, and they hired me as a content creator, and then right away started my podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was Plan Brie?
That was Plan Brie Uncut. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Now we're coming up on a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did that come naturally, like podcasting? Like you're just like, I'm just gonna talk and like see how it goes?
No, it was actually
I recently listened to the first episode like a couple of days ago, and I was like, she's doing a really good job. Like I would not sound
that was
that
the
legit.
12th time recording.
Okay, so it was like a couple drafts.
After I got hired for the podcast, and I was so excited. I'm like, I'm so ready for this. I can do it. And then I get in my room, I'm recording. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do this. I tried to write a script. I tried to read a whole script. I had a mental breakdown. I was like, I can't do this. This is not for me. And then I got into the flow of it. I started figuring out what I was good at, what I should talk about, and then it kind of came naturally. I think I was putting too much pressure on myself and trying to be something I wasn't. And then when I found just my regular voice and was super authentic, it worked, and people liked it.
What's up, my degenerates? Welcome back to another episode of Plan Brie Uncut. Welcome back to Because We Got High with Rhea, Kelly, and Brie.
All right, guys, here with Vinny Hacker. Guys, Brianna got into a little bit of trouble this weekend. I broke my hand.
Where did the name Chickenfry come from?
Oh God, okay. So I go back and forth wondering if I dug myself a grave or if I did myself a favor with the name
I think you did
Chickenfry.
yourself a favor. It's like a more iconic
Yeah,
name.
I never know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It really came from I was in my dorm room and I was drunk and I was eating chicken fries from Burger King. This is when I first, before I started my TikTok. I had TikTok, didn't have an account yet.
Okay.
And I put my leg in the air and I was like, my leg looks like a chicken fry. And then I was like, I'm Brianna Chickenfry. And then I made my account that night and then I posted my first video that day.
And that's how Brianna Chickenfry was born.
Yeah, it's not a crazy story.
Wait, you should do a deal with McDonald's with chicken fries. Do they still make chicken
fries?
fries?
Burger King. They've actually reached out to me. I think we might do something. Yeah, I think we might do something.
So you dropped out of college.
Yes.
When?
I dropped out of college this September of 2020.
So you were starting your senior year?
Senior year, yeah.
Oh my gosh, so you didn't even have that much time left.
No, I had 1 year left.
But you were like, this is just what I want to do.
So it was quarantine.
Well, also, let's get in the fact that you were studying pre-med, which is a complete shift.
Yeah,
in
no,
what
I was
you're
a biochem major, which I think a lot of people think I'm a stupid idiot, which that's the content I put out, but my life before TikTok and before having followers or whatever, my path was going to be, I was going to go to PA school or med school, and I was going to be a doctor, and that's what I was in school for. And once I got this platform and realized I'm actually happy when I was miserable in school and miserable staying up all night studying anatomy, I was like, fuck it, I don't want to do this, and what am I going to go to school for 8 more years, be miserable, for a paycheck? I don't want to do that. And I was actually happy with what I was doing, and people supported me. Thank God, my parents supported me, and
that's great.
I got to do what I love now.
You mentioned your parents being supportive. Mm-hmm. Did they ever have anything to say though about being the drunk girl persona on social media?
So thank God, my parents really don't know how to work a phone. And when I first got hired at Barstool, my mom thought it was a furniture company.
Oh my God.
Which is she still has no idea what I'm doing. If I asked her to name my podcast, she wouldn't know. She really has no idea. She finally downloaded TikTok, and she has a lot to say about my content now. Literally the past 2 weeks, she finally downloaded it.
Oh, so it's a new
Once I'm
thing.
already at 1 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, this is what I am now.
You can't change it now.
This is what you've created. This is the monster you've created. And my dad's, I get who I am from my dad. He was a crazy, crazy son of a bitch when he was growing up and stuff. So he loves it. He feeds off of my content.
That's great.
And my mom's the one that's like, delete that. This is so embarrassing, Brianna. What are you doing? I can't believe you're posting this on the internet. And she humbles me for sure.
So you grew up outside of Boston?
So I grew up in the city until I was 12, and I moved out. I had kind of a weird childhood. I was an only child. I have 3 half-sisters who are a lot older than me.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time alone. Both of my parents worked 2 jobs. So from the age of 5 to 12, I was home alone all the time. And I would make videos on my Mac. I remember getting my first Mac. I would make so many videos. I would pretend to do characters. I've just always loved creating stuff. And I think that's why I'm so, good at what I do, because it just stemmed from such a young age. I had nothing else to do besides talk to myself.
You talked a little bit about getting your job at Barstool and how it just happened really quickly. What has it been like working there? Especially, this is a question you probably get a lot, but in a very male-centered culture and company, as a female, I know there's a female CEO, but there's not a whole lot of female energy at the company in general. So what is that like?
At first, it was probably one of the most intimidating things that I've ever walked into, just because, like you said, the big names there, besides obviously Alex Cooper, are Big Cat, Dave Portnoy, KFC, fights. It's all male dominated. And as a girl walking into it, I mean, I was 20 at the time, was the most horrifying thing I could have ever walked into. And I kind of like told myself, well, these are the men, they're running it, but they need a female voice, they need more girls in it, and I couldn't have been more welcomed by Erica. She's been trying so hard to get like the female narrative in Barstool and trying to work towards, a more not male-dominated company, and I think it's been insane. I don't think a lot of people realize how many females and how many female-dominated podcasts and just content Barstool pushes.
As of recently, too, though, and I think in, becoming a fan of you, I started to fall into that more.
Yeah.
I've never, listened to Call Her Daddy all that much, and that was kind of the only one I knew.
Yeah.
But then now, following you, I realized there's, a whole girl squad over there that I feel like you're a part of.
There's, 20 other podcasts with female in it, and there's so many other female coworkers that have just been so uplifting. When you're in college or you're doing sorority, it's like a fight to be the best. At Barstool, the girls know that it's a male-dominated workforce or just workspace, and we uplift each other, which makes it so much easier. I didn't have to go in there wanting to fight a bitch. It was it was comforting. We all work together, and it's just made me feel so comfortable.
And in an interesting way, it probably has created a healthier female work environment because of that, because you just all are there for each other.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it feels good. It makes me happy because I was so scared. I thought all the girls were going to hate me, I were going to hate them, we were going to claw each other's eyes out.
Yeah.
Now we're all friends. We do content together, which is good.
And the collaboration is probably such a good part of it.
Yeah.
It's basically you're in a content house, but it's a company that creates content. So
Yeah,
it's even better.
It's crazy. It literally is a content house. It's like a TikTok content house, but it's so much more than TikTok.
Right. Yeah. You started Plan Brie Uncut about a year ago now.
Yeah, I think this week is a year.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
So then, at what point what was your first episode of BFFs pod? Because I try to go back and find which one.
I don't even know. I got dragged into that so randomly, and so I was so scared. I'd never talked to Dave before.
Oh, really? So you had never spoken to Dave before being on BFFs?
The hi, I'm Brianna, nice to meet you.
Right.
But
you didn't have a rapport in the office or anything like that.
No.
So he wasn't let me tap Brianna for this?
No, it was literally
God.
just they brought me in for one episode. They had brought in multiple people before to try to fit someone into the pod because they knew they needed something else. And thank God I fit and it worked. And I started off as a third mic. I wasn't didn't have a camera. I said maybe 3 words. I think it was the Jake Paul episode where he was super hungover. And that's where I started, and I was so scared. That was my first big collaboration with Jake Paul. I remember texting all my
you're
friends.
also a Vine YouTube fan, so I feel for you that's a big moment.
Yeah, I was texting everyone with the guys I'm about to go on pod with Dave and Josh and Jake, and now here we are. No, I'm friends with them. It's crazy.
Right.
Honestly, being able to, as my first 6 months or my first 5 months at Barstool, being able to co-host a podcast with Dave, I feel has been just a tremendous learning experience. I get to sit next to him and Josh, who is 19, but I look up to him.
Yeah.
So just like being able to work alongside them and get insight, like I'll just sit there and listen to their conversations. They're like, Brianna, like you're gonna say anything? I'm like, I'm just like listening. It's honestly amazing to see what they're like my biggest inspiration. So working alongside Dave and Josh has just been amazing. Whenever we're it's the fun part.
In the same place.
Whenever we do BFFs, we fly out to each other because obviously Josh is LA, Dave's wherever he wants to be.
Right.
I'm in New York, so whenever we record BFFs, we do a week-long stint in wherever we are, and we'll record for 2 days straight for 14 hours, and then the rest will be playtime. And
fun.
That's when we actually get to hang out and we don't have to talk TikTok drama.
Right.
Me and Josh have gotten really close. He's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. You wouldn't think because he's
because of the persona that he
you wouldn't think that he would be something that he is, but he's a genuine person.
Right.
he's a great friend, and I always get excited when we go to do BFFs because I never get to see him other than that. And
right.
I think we've actually made a genuine connection between me, Dave, and Josh, and I don't think if we didn't have that, the pod would.
You guys
be
have
good.
such good chemistry, and I think that's like part of it. It's not just the content. I think it's the chemistry between the three of you.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you ever feel like it's just like the two of them talking though, and you like don't know when to get in? Because I feel like that was definitely an assumption we got about you, is that like you kind of feel excluded sometimes.
Oh, 100%. But the thing is, what people don't understand, when I got brought into BFFs, I was brought in as a moderator. So
right.
if you watch Howard Stern, or if you look at anyone who's a moderator, it's not really their time to talk all the time, you know? Like, I'm kind of there to moderate it. And now I think the people want me to be more of it.
To talk more,
but also, I'm just a moderator at the same time.
It's the beat you guys have like probably figured out at this point.
Yeah. And I think more as it goes on, I'm getting a bigger voice, which I don't know if the boys like it or if they hate it. But I think as time goes on, I'm definitely pushing myself more into it and only see where it can go from here. Yeah.
So your friends probably were like, "This is awesome!" Like, hyping you up for this. And you've had a long-term boyfriend as well. And did he like have any like concerns with like working at Barstool, which is very male dominant with a lot of males? Plus just kind of like in general, like the content that you have to do, and it revolves around you like going out a lot and that kind of thing. Not that he should have a say in how much you go out, but more just in general of the lifestyle.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I always try to put myself in his shoes and see where he's coming from. He was definitely, I think anyone in the position that he's in would be insecure. Like, I try to say, okay, what if he is partying with Addison Rae and like talking to her and making TikToks with her? Of course I'm gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable, as any significant other would, just because in the back of your head you're a little jealous. You want that to be you. You want to be with that person. And I think in the beginning it was really hard for him to kind of come to terms with, okay, this isn't just 2 weeks of her life now. This is her life, and this is what she's doing. It was very hard in the beginning, and as time's gone on, I think he's grown to just trust me, because I don't know, I'm a very good girlfriend, and I really take pride in that, because a lot of people in this industry and creators that I've met, they're honestly just like awful people, and their morals are thrown out the door. And I think that's what he was so scared of, me gaining followers and completely changing the person that I was, which I would be scared of too. And that's the one thing I pride myself on, whether at 5,000 followers or 10 million, I'm always going to be the same person. And once he realized that, it's like, okay, you're still Brianna, we can do this. I might be a little jealous, I want to be there with you, but I trust you, and we can do this. It's not easy by any means, because it's long distance at the same time, but it's life.
Yeah, just some obstacles to overcome.
A couple bumps.
Just a couple bumps.
Yeah.
But that's great though. Like, I mean, also it seems like he's kind of becoming more a part of your content. Like, you guys recently did a podcast episode together, and he's still in your TikToks and doing backflips with you.
Yeah, whenever we're together. I'm like, Nick, if you just drop whatever you're doing, because he's miserable right now. He's doing like a sales job. He just graduated. It's obviously hard to find a job when you just graduate. I'm like, we could fully do content together and be set. Like, you could be so
let's get Nick rolling all this.
He gets so nervous, and that's when I go back to it. I'm like, this isn't for everybody. Not everyone can be in front of a camera and do it, but I'm gonna try to get him.
And I mean, couples also like do really well in like content creation.
So well.
Like, people eat that up.
That's kind of half of the reason I blew up. It was me and Nick content.
Excuse me, sir. You're not allowed to vape in the restaurant?
What did you say?
You're not allowed to vape in the restaurant. Just please put it away.
Do you know who I am?
Who are you?
I'm Bryce Hall.
You can't vape in the restaurant.
When I moved here and it was just me content, all of my comments were, I want the Nick content. We want you and Nick back. And I was like, oh, guys, no, it's me. I'm doing this.
It's Brianna Chickenfry.
So I had to like force my followers to like me by myself, which it was kind of hard.
What would you like say are like the hallmarks of Brie culture? Because I would say raspberry culotta is one of them.
Yeah.
Sleep when you're dead.
Partying. Just girls who are 100% unfiltered. They don't care what they're saying. good friends. I just like crazy bitches that are just like good friends. I don't care what you look like or how old you are. I have followers that are like, one of my biggest fan bases is moms.
Really?
Which is crazy. And
That's
I love
so interesting.
It so much. It's like drunk moms that are like,
it's like their
"You are
guilty
me in
pleasure.
my 20s."
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I just have like a lot of people that are just living life to live it, and that's just like my cult following. And I think a lot of people who follow me attack other people. Like whenever they see anyone attacking me on social media, it's like my cult is just on them. And I feel bad. I'm like, relax a little bit. I kind of
You know what? If you're getting trolls, they're
flattering.
asking for it. Yeah. It's a Breeze Army.
Yeah, I love it.
Something that a lot of people don't know about you is that you're writing a book right now.
Yes, I've been writing a book for, I want to say the past 5 months or so.
Okay.
It's not like a book where there's a deadline and I have it all figured out. It's kind of a book of figuring your life out in one, all of my mistakes, everything that I've been through, the things that I'm working towards. It's basically, I struggle a lot with mental health, and I talk about that a lot on my podcast, Plan Brianna Cut. That's like the one safe space for me that I actually talk about these things, and I feel like I have so much to say, and I've gotten so many people reaching out to me of like, I've saved them, I've saved their life, and it kind of like transformed how I'm thinking and that I actually have a message to give. So instead of a podcast, I figured I could write a book, and it's not necessarily about just me, it's about figuring out yourself, struggling with mental health, and actually getting out on the other side. And it's probably going to be the most thing that I'm proud of, the one thing that I'm like actually proud of, and it's going really well, and I love it, and I'm so excited. It's been my dream to write a book.
So is it autobiographical, or is it like different just stories about your life?
It's probably autobiographical, yeah, but I want it to be more of a message towards everyone and not just about my life. I think there's like pieces of it that everyone can take and use in their own lives and their own situations. It's basically just advice, everything that I've fucked up on, and the mistakes I wish I didn't have made, and the mistakes I'm glad I made, just things like that, and getting out on the other side, because there was a lot of dark days for me, and I'm glad to be in the space that I am now.
So, in addition to writing a book, where do you see kind of your brand going? Because like you're clearly gonna, not clearly, you might not ever tire out, but you know, when partying is your brand, are you ever like, I don't want to, or it might end, it has an end point, or an expiration date?
I think with my brand, I think it started as partying and just like being a drunk girl. And if you look at my content recently, or not even recently, like the past like few months, it's just kind of turned into lifestyle vlogging and like kind of figuring out your life in your 20s and figuring out who you are. And I just kind of want to roll with this is me, and I think people are following me now because of my personality and that they actually enjoy my content in my life instead of just being drunk. I think the partying side is great for the marketing aspect and like merchandise and stuff like that, the business aspect, but I'm not really interested in that. I want to be happy with what I'm doing, and I think just like the vlogging lifestyle and figuring your shit out in your 20s is the route I'm trying to take.
Yeah, and I think I've seen that shift definitely like in your content, like it's evident, and I think it's working. Like I think that people definitely like to watch just like what you're doing on a day-to-day.
I think so too.
And the unfiltered thing I think is always going to have a super relatable aspect to it.
It's unapologetic.
And I think it's a good mix of being like unfiltered and relatable and aspirational, I guess is the best way to put it, because you're aspirational in the sense that like you're living a cool life, but it's also relatable because there's still real moments to it.
Exactly.
That's what I try
to do. I just try to be myself. I think I'm the same person that I was when I first started, and I think that's why people like to watch
me. That's all for today, my degenerates. I love you guys. Always remember to stay true to yourself, be who you want to be, party hard, and fucking sleep when you're dead.